Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Glorious Life on Wheels. I recently aired a video in which I talked about a new law that's going to be coming into effect in California that will prohibit the sale of new gas-powered vehicles. In that video, I talked about things that I thought would happen as a result of that law, and I also made a prediction. I speculated that as a result of that law, people driving gas-powered vehicles would also start to be fined or charged a fee for driving those vehicles. But I was speculating that sometime in the future that was something that would happen. Well, guess what? You guys, I tell you, you sent in comments, you made comments, you had all kinds of things to say about it. And in one of those comments, one of the viewers shared that that's not speculation for the future, it's actually already happening. And it's happening in London. So you know what? Come on, I'm going to share with you how it's going to be happening if things go as planned in the United States also, and by the end of this year. So come on, let's talk about it. I'm going to share with you what's happening in London, and then I'm going to give you some information on what's slated to go into effect in New York if things go on as planned. First of all, do me a favor, would you? Hit that like button if you like this content, and if you're not subscribed, hit that bell for notifications so you can continue hearing information about things that may very well impact you in the future. All right, here's what's going on in London. In London, there are what are called congestion zones. Now, this information I got from Wikipedia and also from other articles on the internet. And I'll share some of that information in the description if you want to go and look it up yourself. But I'm going to look at my notes some so that I get this accurate. But there are congestion zones in areas in which there's a usage fee. I call it a tax, but it's a usage fee for driving in to the city during certain times of the day. And I think those times are from something like maybe 7 in the morning until 6 or 7 in the evening. Right now, what they're charging is $18.64 per day. That's right, per day. If you drive a car into certain areas within this central part of London, and even I think going out to Heathrow, whether it's a rental car or your own car, whether you're an Uber driver, you're paying that fee to drive in the city of London. Basically, the privilege for driving in London. Now, the stated purpose of this congestion fee, and this is what I read on the internet, is that to reduce the traffic flow on city streets, and a side benefit is that it reduces air and noise pollution. And also, now pay attention to this because I think this is really the key and the main purpose. It also raises funds to pay for London's transit district. Well, based on my research, in 2021 to 2022, it raised $336 million, charging people to drive their car into the city, the daily fee for doing that. Now, there were some exemptions for certain vehicles, like if you had certain hybrids or if you had an electric vehicle. But my understanding is that in 2025, that is going to be ended. There will be no more exemptions for those vehicles. One of my viewers from Great Britain submitted a comment, and they said, in their opinion, it's nothing but a money grab. I tend to agree with that. What do you think about it? Do you think it's a money grab, or do you think it's a valid way to raise funds? Put it in the comments what you think. Well, anyhow, this is slated to go into effect in New York at the end of 2023. So anyone coming into the city during peak, whatever is described as peak hours, will pay a fee of between I just had to refer to my notes, but between $9 and $23. That's right, anyone coming into the city of New York between certain peak hours will pay, I'm calling it a usage fee, a usage for using the air, using the roads, whatever. You already pay taxes. Don't some of your taxes go to pay for the roads? But you're going to pay a fee of between $9 and $23 if you go into the city of New York sometime starting around the end of this year. Now, supposedly, they're looking at some kind of exemption for people who live in the city. Not an exemption that they won't pay any of that, but they'll get a reduction. Now, how it works in London, based on what I could gather, what information I could gather, is you have to register your vehicle. And once you register, I guess they have cameras all over that are taking pictures of cars that are in the city. And if your car is in the city during those hours and you're not registered, it's a huge, huge fine. So everyone will have to be registered who goes into the city, and you will be in some kind of data bank, and there'll be cameras watching you. And that's what's slated to occur in New York also. But let's be honest. Once this happens in New York, do you think it's going to stop and not happen around the country? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when one airline decided to start charging for baggage, all the airlines started. And then when one airline started charging for aisle seats and, seats towards the front of the plane, every airline followed suit. And I believe that's what will happen in the majority of large cities in this country. Do you agree? Or do you think that it'll just be New York and probably California, and that'll be it? I don't think it's going to be relegated to just those two cities, but let me know in the comments what you think. It's kind of interesting that this is called a congestion zone fee. In other words, reduced congestion. But listen to this. It's my understanding that in London, if you have a vehicle that doesn't meet low emission standards, you don't only pay this fee during the peak congestion hours. You pay a fee 24 hours a day. So how is it a congestion fee to reduce congestion during the hours where there's very little congestion, like at 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning, but you're still paying because if you don't have a low emission or a vehicle that meets the standards that they said were low emission, you're going to pay a fee. So that flies in the face of them saying that this is the purpose. Again, I think it's a money grab. And I think that it's, people in positions to make these decisions are trying to find ways to tax regular citizens without really calling it a tax per se. Although I think in New York, they may actually be calling it a tax. But it's definitely a way to reach into our pockets and take more money out of the limited funds that we have. So let me know what you think. Do you think that people are going to say enough is enough and take action, or what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Again, I will put some of the information regarding my sources in the description so you can go check it out for yourself. All right, stay tuned. And if you're not subscribed, hit that bell so that you can get notified and learn about more things that are impacting you and more ways the government is going into your pockets. All right, see you later. See you down the road.